Sorry about the late start, man. The fucking line took forever.
Oh no, dude, it's cool. I know the struggle of the drive-through. So
I mean, usually it's a lot quicker than that, man. And I was like, man, like I'm still in my work clothes type shit. I'm like, fuck, dude.
well,
Man.
that was Sonic, right? It looked like a Sonic.
That was Taco Bell. We don't have a Sonic here. We used to, but I got taken out. So,
Oh shit, where are you from, by the way?
Bloomington, Indiana.
Gotcha. I'm all the way over here in the BX, Bronx,
Okay.
New York.
Okay, man. Yeah, we used to have a Sonic, and I used to get their fucking like foot-long chili dog all the time, bro. With onions
I
and
haven't
everything.
had that in a while.
Bro. Yeah. It's dangerous. Man, so basically to kind of start things off, you said you were a big wrestling fan, and this weekend is a big event.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm excited.
I mean, I am, but not as much as I used to be, man. It just seems like it's not what WrestleMania used to be. You like, I'm looking at Saturday night's card, and 1 second, I'm looking at the KO show. Is kind of something that intrigues me in terms of what are they going to do with it? Is it going to turn to a full-blown match, or is it just going to be like a squash of like
like Austin beating his ass
for like 5 minutes and then like be done? Because the way they're hyping this up, it feels like it's going to be a match.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've seen the Rich Eisen show before on YouTube, but Stone Cold was on it, and Rich Eisen was interviewing him a week or two ago, and Austin made it sound like it was an in-ring return. I think somehow that segment might turn into a match, because Austin, like, if you've... by the way, to circle back, I agree with you. I've been a wrestling fan a long time, and the WWE has definitely lost a lot of its surprise element luster. And WrestleMania used to feel like this, every match was important, and it doesn't feel like every match is important anymore.
Because I'm looking at, like, there's matches on the first card I don't care about.
Yeah.
I feel like they're just trying to put people in that have a decent following to bring in more money. Like, for COVID's over, I don't see why you need to have 2 nights anymore. Just make it 1 night and have your biggest matches. So, but the Austin thing, I rumored it's going to be the main event now. It took the place of Flair and Rousey.
Oh, yeah, I think that's why I think it's going to turn into a match. I don't think WrestleMania would end with a talk show segment, even if it ends in a brawl. Somehow, some way, I think a referee's coming out there.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at it like, I follow Austin on Instagram, and he's been posting a lot of meal prep and like cardio stuff, and he's cut. He looks cut. So
he looks like a monster, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, how's his knees going to hold up? Or, like Owens, obviously, they might trigger the neck if they're trying to like make it like, like Owens might attack the neck to bring, the story of the neck into it. But like, they're obviously going to base the match. Like, you can't drop him on his head. Can't do this.
Yeah.
But
I think if this is an in-ring return, because the rumor that the internet has been swelling around is that it's a 6-match contract that Austin apparently signed.
That would be cool.
Or something of the sort. So I can only imagine it's going to be, whatever he does is going to be very brawl oriented to make sure that he doesn't get any serious injury. And I think Kevin Owens might be the perfect guy to test the waters against, because Owens could work with anybody.
Yeah, there's something about them Canadians, that the best wrestlers to ever do it as a whole.
Canadians with music, rock and roll, like, and pro wrestling. I don't know what it is. There's something in the water over there. And hockey, obviously.
Yeah, like, I mean, if Shawn Michaels was Canadian, that would end debates of debates. But,
dude, I see like a Halloween thing behind you. I'm a big horror guy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's the start of it. And you can't see it, but up on the wall, I got all the Halloween movies on like these clear shelves. And now I'm about to put all my Scream movies, then Texas Chainsaw. I'm just a big slasher guy.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I got the 78 mask and Halloween Kills mask. And I'm actually thinking about buying a rehaul of the Kills mask. Because I've seen some ones on Instagram that just look so fucking good.
Dude, it's crazy what artists do now when you go through Instagram, even with Jason masks and stuff. Like,
I'm not too big into Jason, but I follow this one guy on Instagram and he's got the Freddy versus Jason mask where like there's after like Freddy cut the mask up and it's got all the little details and the eye sockets all cracked and it's got blood on it. It looks pretty raw, man. I'm thinking about buying it just because it looks so good. You know,
dude,
like
that sounds awesome. I would kill to have something like that.
Yeah, but the rehaul I'm thinking about buying, it's like $600 American or something. But for Halloween, I'll do it. I don't know how well that you can see, but obviously this is a mass production, so it's not going to be great, but it ain't terrible.
Oh no, that's still badass.
I think Trick or Treat this is probably their best mask they ever mass produced, in my opinion.
That is really cool.
The only thing I don't like is it's yellow. It looks like a burnt marshmallow on the side. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's the only issue because it wasn't yellow in the movie. It was just like gray and shit and white. But it even has like the burnt hair texture and everything. And it like they did pretty well with it.
I dig it. I'm a big collector too. I'm like, you can't see everything in there, like, but I'm running out of space in this room for shit. I got figures, statues, fucking posters. I need more shelves. That's what I need.
Now, I would love to talk about Halloween more in a bit, but kind of just stay on track to what we were saying. Another match that's intriguing, and we don't know 100%, but we know, is Seth Rollins versus this mystery opponent. Now, Cody Rhodes obviously has been the name thrown out since he'd left AEW. Which my thought on this is I think Vince is not working with AEW, but I think there's a mutual, like, you know, communication. I think Cody's going to come over to WWE for a year or 6 months or whatever, and then go back to AEW. And that's just going to raise the stock of AEW.
I think it might be part of like the wrestler master plan, right? So Cody, if you look at the pattern, AEW gets successful. Cody is one of their biggest names. Then he gets this reality show. He's hosting the Go Big show on TBS. Like he's slowly becoming like a mainstream name now.
Yeah.
And then your contract comes up and the biggest wrestling show of the year is right around the corner. And not to mention, the internet and guys who work for WWE can spin it all they want. They can tell us till they're blue in the face that they don't care that AEW exists. They care.
And they do, but they don't because WWE knows they're not competing with them.
Exactly.
It's like any competition makes money, but they know AEW is for the hardcore wrestling fans.
Yes.
Like if you love the Attitude Era type vibe, AEW is what I prefer to watch if I'm gonna watch.
Me too.
Live, but I don't too often because of how busy I am. But if I'm home, you know, on nights that it's on, I'll watch that over NXT or SmackDown or Raw.
Yeah, they destroyed NXT. I don't know.
I just look at it from like I get on YouTube and I'll just look at highlights on things I find intriguing. But
Yeah.
other than that, man, the every other match on the first night is like to me. Like, I don't care about Becky Lynch and Bianca.
I don't care as much as people do either. Yeah, I don't.
The Miz and Logan Paul and the Mysterios, I don't care about. Drew McIntyre, I don't care about. The Usos in that match, I don't care about. Charlotte Flair and Ronda. I mean, I think Charlotte's gonna go over.
Yeah, probably.
But
I mean,
Ronda says she's going to be around for a while. So it's not just like to bring her back for Mania. So she might win. I don't know. It just how long do they want to stretch this story out with Ronda and Rousey? You want to have like one match or you want to have like three?
Yeah, I would hope that Ronda wins because I think Charlotte's had that title for a little too long. And then I would say, if you want to get really crazy and do something that we haven't seen in a while, do Ronda and Charlotte in an Iron Man match, not the follow-up pay-per-view, Iron Woman match, rather.
Well, I know that Charlotte could do it, but could Ronda do it?
But yeah, that's a good question, right? That gas tank is a lot different.
The thing I hate about Charlotte is her voice, and she's not that great at promos. But there's no debate. She is the greatest female to ever step foot in that ring.
I agree 100%.
There's not anybody close that like as great as, Trish was, and as great as Lita was, and as great as Chyna was. The only thing that can elevate Charlotte is that she wrestled guys, and she's big enough and athletic enough, it could be believable.
I've said Charlotte versus Randy Orton would probably be such an amazing match for so long.
I mean, it could, who knows? It might happen. You never know. You never know.
Yeah, but that night one match card, I agree with you. I mean, didn't they move Edge and AJ Styles over to it?
Now I'm going to the second night. So now you got Roman and Brock. The storyline in this is just so intriguing.
Yeah.
Like WWE doesn't capitalize a lot, but when they do, they hit a home run.
Yeah.
And this is one of those matches and storylines that they're doing it. I don't like Roman personally as a character, even when he was a babyface.
Yeah,
I just always felt like they were trying to push him down our throats.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't care. Like when he beat Taker at that time, I understand, but I didn't think he deserved it at that moment. Now, when Brock did it, you were shocked, but you weren't surprised.
Yeah, I'll never forget that. I was under the impression that he was hurt.
I subscribed to the network for that Mania. Because that's when the network first dropped and they were promoting it like, for $10 you could watch Mania. I was watching that live and my face was like that black guy in the front row.
Yeah, dude. that shit was crazy.
Like, we never thought that, the streak would end. But dude, when you look at it, there was only two people before Roman I felt like that could have ended it. Now, if they wanted to go back before the streak really became a life of its own, I think Randy and Taker the first time, that would have been a good time to end the streak because I would have put Randy up to new heights and really gave him that push. And maybe if he wasn't on drugs and doing shit backstage, maybe they would have did that.
Yeah, if he wasn't shitting in Diva's bags. Yeah.
And then Brock, obviously, even though he didn't need it, but his character, it's like, who else could beat Undertaker at WrestleMania besides Brock?
And that's the big argument, right? Like, apparently Vince told the Undertaker, he was like, if Brock isn't going to beat you, who's going to beat you? Because somebody has to do it.
Story behind that, Taker walked into the building knowing he was going over. Then Vince came to him like, hey, no, we're changing it. And one thing with Taker, and I respect it, and not only as a professional, but as a man, he said, okay, if that's what you want, I'll do it. But everyone in the locker room, that's why he to me, he's the greatest because of the character, the gimmick. But someone at 7 foot, 300 pounds moving in that ring the way he does, Kane was the only guy you can argue that can do the same shit. But
yeah, the longevity too, like constantly reinventing the character.
Going
over
back
time.
to, starting as this guy with Paul Bearer as your mouthpiece, and then you kind of become the minister of darkness, and then you
Yeah.
go to the American Badass, and then go back in a way, but it was different.
Yeah.
It's just like, man. The only other person that's done that and that is fucking around with being like the GOAT is Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
When you look at his career and the character changes, like who invents himself better than Chris Jericho? And to have high level matches, and he looks better now in AEW since he's came back than he did towards the last run in WWE physically.
Yeah, Jericho is probably, if you were to ask me my favorite of all time, that's most likely my answer is Jericho. And it's because of that, like Chris Jericho, there's so many versions of him and every version is great. And I've said this a lot too with my buddies when we talk about wrestling, like name me a bad Chris Jericho match. Like
Never.
yeah, I can't think of one.
Even him and China had great matches.
Yeah, and he works a style too that
benefits everybody though,
Yeah, Jericho, if you listen to him in interviews, he's only really been seriously hurt once.
Yeah.
And that's because he wrestles smart, but he's also wrestles very entertaining and fast paced. He figured it out.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great thing, man. I do think, in my opinion, as a fan, Jericho right now is probably the greatest of all time.
He's up there, and I'm not going to argue with that just because of what we were talking about. But who is the best in-ring wrestler you've ever seen? To me, it's Shawn Michaels. And then going to our next match, you got a match I would have loved to see 10, 15 years ago, AJ Styles and Shawn Michaels. Imagine the fucking, oh man, I get goosebumps just thinking about that.
Me too. Yeah. Oh, the greatest in ring. Yeah, man. For me, it's like Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle. I can't.
Kurt's third. Kurt is number 3.
Like for me, I can't pick between both of them, but Shawn Michaels is like the total package of what you want in a pro wrestler. There's never going to be another Shawn Michaels ever, like in the world. Like AJ Styles is as close as we came to it.
But he's his own style though. That's the reason why they never like put him next to Shawn, like Adam Cole, right? Like people, the reason why he didn't really get over in WWE is because he felt like he was trying to be too much like Shawn.
Yeah.
And then Pat called him out on it and he fucking snapped.
Yeah, no, I think Adam Cole is great. One thing I got to say about Adam Cole is I love those mic skills too. Adam Cole could cut a promo. And I didn't really start appreciating that until like the past few weeks of watching AEW. Yeah. I was like, whoa, I never realized this guy could talk some pretty good shit.
Yeah. And for me, I didn't really watch a whole lot of NXT. I just know he was a big deal in NXT. And I know he's having success in AEW, but I haven't really been following it. So I need to just at least on DVR or something, just go back and watch some of the recent episodes. Now, for me, it's tough. Like, if I tell you my top 5 in-ring performers in no order, like, you got to put Randy on that list.
Yeah. Oh,
he's so smooth and it's just so effortless. You know what I mean?
Orton is up there for me too. He's in my top 3 of my favorites. Orton is a master of the little things, right? Like, he doesn't need to do a lot of fancy chain wrestling.
But he can sell what he can't take.
Exactly. And the little things he does that gets an audience reaction, like the way he looks at the camera, the way he looks at the crowd. Like everything he does means something.
There's no wasted motion.
None at all.
Like obviously we just said Shawn. That's obvious. I'm gonna put Jericho up there.
Ooh, for sure.
Ric Flair and Kurt Angle, and an honorable mention is Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, dude, if you would have asked me my list of greatest in ring, I probably would have said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I can't even disagree with that list. A lot of people got to dig deep into old Ric Flair, like Ric Flair and Sting and stuff. Like those matches are amazing.
Yeah, like, and we at our age when we seen Rick, he was already like 45.
Yeah.
43.
Like he was pushing it. Yeah.
But he was still having great matches.
Yeah, my favorite Ric Flair match, a lot of people, if they're wrestling fans, they listen to this, they'll probably laugh, is Ric Flair versus Triple H at Survivor Series. I don't know if you remember this one.
No, I can probably go back and rewatch it, but like
Triple H beats the shit out of him.
I thought the match with him and Shawn, even though Shawn carried him, Ric Flair's psychology of, the ring.
Yeah.
Even at a fat 50-some-year-old Ric Flair, had a great match for his last match with Shawn.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite WrestleMania matches too. And what a good way to go out, like against Shawn Michaels at the best show of the year. That's a storybook career ending, man.
Yeah. And then let's go on a little bit further to Edge and AJ Styles. Now, this is a match it's like, this is a kid in a can. Edge is on that list if you go top 10.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And if someone put him in the top 5, I'm not going to argue that.
Yeah. Edge is probably doesn't get enough of the credit he deserves most of the time.
Yeah. And it's just like, this is going to be fun for just, as a wrestling fan to watch two of the best in their, profession go at it.
Yeah, this is something that like when you were younger, right, and TNA was on, and then you'd watch WWE, like you would go, "Oh, what if?" And like now it's happening. And I've heard a lot of people go, "It's happening a bunch of years too late." I completely disagree. I think AJ's in his prime, and I think
Edge is still in his prime. He hasn't had a bad match since he's came back.
This will steal the show 1,000%. It'll be the best match on the card, I think.
Yeah. So that's pretty much for the rest. So, to you though, let me ask, who's going over in Brock and Roman? Who's going to win that?
I think here's the thing. If Brock wins the title,
it's a fucking coin toss.
I look at it like this. If Brock wins the title, who takes it off him? You have a very small list. I say Roman retains. And if you want to drag it out for half the year, The Rock has to make that final run at SummerSlam or WrestleMania. And now you got to do family versus family.
Well, there's been rumors that The Rock is making an appearance at Mania, and he's going to get involved in the match.
I think it needs to happen, right? If not now, when?
So let's say Roman tells the Usos to stay in the back, right? So it's mano to mano. Ref goes out. The Rock sneaks in and gives a rock bottom to Brock. And then he just looks at Roman with that stare, like, you know what I mean? And he just walks out.
That would be crazy. That means you got to do Rock and Brock at SummerSlam before you do Rock and Roman for the title, which I'm okay with also.
Yeah, I don't know. Me personally, I want Brock to win. I just personally speaking.
Yeah.
And this is the best version. Like this to me is putting Brock, and when you look at workers, he's in the top 10 of workers of all time, if not top 5. This run he's doing as himself. He's just being himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's no secret. He doesn't like a lot of people. Like he's not a big people. It's not that he's a dick. He just doesn't like random people coming up to him all the time. But this is like the most Brock we got. And then him on the Pat McAfee show. He's a funny dude.
Dude, that shit was hilarious. I loved that whole show. I loved it.
I'm like, man, Brock's a good dude.
Yeah, he's a good guy. It's just like, we're all human, right? Like, people can get annoying. And I think that's just how Brock is. Brock he'd rather deal with his friends than deal with outsiders.
1000%. Like, I'm like that. Like, I don't like fucking being touched by strangers and shit.
Yeah, nobody likes that.
Yeah, dude, this is like one of these matches that's like, I have no idea. Because I figured that Roman was going to beat him the first time, but it wasn't clean. And they've been dragging this story out. If Brock doesn't win, is he going to write off? Like, is this his last hoo-ha?
Yeah, that's a good statement and question. Like, if Brock loses, what else is there left for Brock Lesnar? I think story-wise, Brock has to win, right? Like, you got fucked over by your manager, all this crazy stuff. I think Brock has to come out.
And not only that, Vince does listen to the universe.
Yeah.
And right now, even though Roman is a heel and his pops as boos are not as big as Brock's pops.
Yeah.
Like, everybody fucking loves Brock right now.
Yeah. You got to pull the trigger on it. You got to put the strap on him. And then at some point, I think in front of a crowd now, you got to do Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar in front of an audience.
I don't care for that match again.
Now, I would like to see it, and if it was like in a no holds bar setting. I don't want to see two guys like that fight in a regular wrestling match.
Because look, physically, Drew McIntyre looks like what a WWE star should be.
Yeah.
I just don't like his in-ring style whatsoever. He's boring to me.
Yeah, I think he's a guy that it depends who he's in the ring with. I can say that about a lot of guys. I've always kind of said that about Triple H as well.
But he was the guy who got people over. That's the thing. Triple H was great at what he did, but he knew his job was to make the other person look fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's sad that he has to, never lace them up again because of that heart condition. But I mean, you got to be safe than sorry, though.
Yeah, I mean, but he was already up there, and he even said he was at that stage in his career where he's like, I was already like cool with it if it never happened.
Yeah.
So at least that's good. It's not like he was in the prime or peak.
Yeah, that would have been worse.
So to you though, what is the biggest Mania match, that you remember? To me, of course, you had Andre and Hulk Hogan. That you can say is the biggest match of all time.
Yeah.
But in my lifetime, it was The Rock and Hogan.
Yeah. I think that and Rock and Cena almost go hand in hand, but there was something way more special about The Rock and Hulk Hogan.
Even before they locked up, even before the bell rang, people were going fucking nuts.
Yeah. It's so rewatchable too, right? Like when you have a match that you can, when that happened, like almost 20 years ago now, you can rewatch that match and it still has the same effect now as it did back then.
Yeah, and you got two of the greatest workers in the ring. Like that, The Rock obviously is not the greatest in-ring performer. He's the greatest worker besides Hogan.
Yeah, I agree.
1000%. And so that to me almost would you have to put Hogan as the greatest wrestler, because not only was he in the biggest match of all time against Andre, but he comes back later and has a 5-star match with Rock in the later part of his career.
Yeah, that argument I think also could be made for The Rock, right? Like The Rock is the only guy in the WWE that can say he beat Stone Cold at WrestleMania, he beat Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania, and he beat John Cena at WrestleMania. That is like That is an established list.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean that's the biggest. That's the Mount Rushmore of wrestling.
yeah, and none of the other three guys can say they beat the other three. Like that's nuts.
Yeah, and like when you really look at it, to me, that's the biggest match I remember in my lifetime. To me, the greatest match, not only in WrestleMania history, but just in general, WrestleMania 25, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, it's nothing's come close since.
The only thing that's came close to that, and I think it had a lot to do with the story, and Shawn was involved, was the Hell in a Cell with Triple H and Taker.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
That match was fun. Like there when Shawn hit him with the Sweet Chin music and he went right into the pedigree, I'm like,
it's over. Yeah.
Then he kicks out, and it's just like Shawn's expression the whole time was the best thing for that match.
Shawn Michaels deserves an Oscar for that.
You got your best friend, and then you have someone you respect so fucking much. And it's just like he was conflicted.
Yeah.
And the chair shots in that match were fucking brutal.
Yeah, dude.
When was the last? I think that was the last match where a chair was used like that. Just because you had two old school guys that could take it. To them, that was normal.
I haven't seen like a level of violence like that in the WWE since. That's probably the last time we'll ever see anything like that in that company.
I mean, they did promote it as like the end of an era.
Yeah.
And that was, because after that, everything changed.
That is a good point. Yeah. WrestleMania 28. Yeah. After that WrestleMania, that's when you saw everything going in a completely different direction, like immediately too.
So the kind of fast forward, or kind of same topic, but fast forward, like off of Mania, WWE obviously did a lot of cuts since COVID. The one that fucking boggles my mind is Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, I still haven't wrapped my head around that.
I mean, obviously Bray wasn't happy. I heard he only did the match at Mania because he loves Randy as a person, and it was like a favor.
Yeah, I could see that.
I didn't understand. You had this great buildup and some of Randy's best work on the mic. And then you had the Fiend come back and rejuvenate in front of us. Like, you know, he's walking down the tunnel and he went from the burnt version of himself back to himself. And then Randy ends it with one RKO. So one thing I never understood about the WWE's push on this character is, if you remember the matches with him and Seth Rollins, they made him this indestructible monster that could, every curb stomp, he got right back up.
Yeah. I think, so this is my personal opinion, I guess, as a fan. When I look at the pattern of guys who get released, but they're successful, it almost seems like if it's not a Vince McMahon creation, it gets axed or there's a problem behind closed doors. Like you look at CM Punk, right? And Punk, as an example, and Punk was not a Vince McMahon creation.
Punk was just something that happened natural.
Yeah, Punk came out of an indie scene and got lucky enough to keep his name and his gimmick. And look at all the problems that were behind closed doors despite the success. Daniel Bryan might have been the only guy that was successful and that wasn't a Vince McMahon creation that never got completely butchered. But then again, can we really say that though? Because the real Daniel Bryan is what you see in AEW, and he got strapped with a yes gimmick, and he
needed that. That was the biggest
Yeah,
One
it made
of
a
the
lot of
biggest
money.
moments. Yeah, like it made sense. And I mean, I think Daniel left WWE because of who was at AEW. There was a lot of people to work with.
Yeah, stuff to do that he's never done before.
Yeah.
I,
And
I
I think that's what intrigues him. Now, did you hear Ric Flair's comments on this podcast about Daniel Bryan's good, but he's not great?
Yeah, Ric Flair has weird opinion. Ric Flair has weird opinion. I think Daniel Bryan, we're talking about like the greatest in-ring wrestlers, right? Of this generation, like this new generation.
He's good.
It's Daniel
weird.
Bryan.
Like, I agree with Rick. I think he's good, but there's certain guys, if you put it back in the day, that are not going to be successful. He's on that list.
Oh yeah, because
I've
said
and the gimmick and whatnot. But there's certain guys that so to me, listen, a lot of people hate John Cena because he was that transitional guy who created the new era of wrestling. But John Cena is the greatest champion of all time. He carried that, and he's still carrying that company on his back.
Yeah.
He is the greatest champion of all time.
John Cena is, once again, the GOAT. Yeah, John Cena is the GOAT. And I'll say it, and I'll probably get ripped apart for it. John Cena is better than Daniel Bryan.
Even though like he's got the 3 moves of death or whatever he jokes about, it's like.
But if you watch him wrestle certain guys, John pulls out some impressive shit. Like,
and for a guy his size, you would think like he wouldn't, be doing what he did.
Yeah, no, Cena's great, and I agree with the Daniel Bryan comment. I think he's great in the ring, but if you're talking about a total package, CM Punk comes far past him by miles, I think.
1000%. I mean, like Punk, you could put in the Attitude Era, and
Punk
see
survives
wrestling Stone Cold in main events.
Yep. Punk would have got in the Attitude Era. If Punk was a heel, Punk would have got trash thrown at him.
The thing that pisses me off, and WWE teased it, but they didn't pull the trigger. I think they were promoting 2K12.
Oh, when WWE 13, I remember what you're talking about. Yeah,
Stone Cold and Punk were just talking shit, and it's like, are they really gonna like? Because like Stone Cold's like, I can come back and like that get your title. And there was that awkward tension, and it's like, wait a minute, are they teasing? Like,
it would have been so cool. That would have probably been one of the biggest matches ever if they did that.
But I think Vince's, I wouldn't say hatred, but dislike for CM Punk's success. Like if that was John Cena, you bet your fucking bottom dollar he would have fucking pulled that trigger. Like,
of course. Once again, Punk wasn't a Vince creation. So I think there's something inside of Vince that's like, if I didn't make it and it's successful, I hate it. I feel like that's like a thing I pick up on.
Is it an ego thing?
I think so. Because remember when WCW was a thing and guys would come over, they weren't immediate. Yeah, like Jericho's first run in the company isn't great.
But Vince must have liked him from the jump, because the debut and Interrupt the Rock.
Yeah.
Like,
but it quickly fell apart though. Like he did that, and then 2 weeks later he was like wrestling D'Lo Brown on the Heat. Like, so it's very weird whatever way Vince's mind works. It's very odd.
To you though, is Vince the greatest businessman to ever live though?
Yeah. 1000%.
I mean,
that company will be successful no matter what.
But Vince though, like especially like hearing him on the Pat McAfee show and him telling stories, like with the first Mania, he sat with a yellow book and he would just call random people like, "Hey, this is Vince McMahon from WWE. Make sure you tune in to WrestleMania." And if he didn't get an answer, I guess he would circle the name and go back later.
That's nuts.
Like,
That's persistence and a lot of confidence.
yeah, like I don't know, man. Vince is when he dies, it's not only going to affect me as a wrestling fan, but like I don't think he's a bad guy.
No, I just think, he has his own way of doing stuff that might not make sense to the casual fan, but I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think he's different. He's a different kind of human being.
And I wish that WWE wasn't a stockholded company because I feel like he would have more control
Yeah.
on things. And that's one thing that's missed for a while. It's like, I want Vince to be the head of every fucking reign in that company.
Yeah, there's the element of surprise is gone. I feel like because you have so many sponsors and stuff that you can't be as edgy as you once were. And I get it though.
And
You have kids that watch it. Like,
kayfabe is gone.
yeah, it's I can't remember really the last time in WWE anyway that element of this isn't supposed to happen or so. I can't remember. The Punk Cena thing.
I mean, it's gonna be a big pop when Cody comes night one, but we all know it's coming. It's not gonna be a surprise.
I think the pop is gonna be oh shit, like we knew, but like wow, like it's actually happening.
And
That's like the kind of
I've
pop.
also heard like Shane McMahon,
Oh God, I hope not.
but I thought he got cut after Rumble. I heard there was a backstage disagreement with he wanted to be one of the final four.
Oh no, God. I mean, I don't know if Shane's ego got booed. I don't know. I mean, I don't hate Shane McMahon. I don't dislike him, but
he had one of my favorite matches of all time, though.
All right, with Kurt Angle, because that's yeah, oh, dude, that's once again rewatchable. Like, still holds up.
That's in my top 5 matches of all time.
Oh man, what's number 1? I'm just curious.
Oh, it's Taker and Shawn at 25.
Taker and Shawn's up there for me.
There's no ifs, ands. I can have dementia, and I'm gonna remember Taker and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25.
It's the greatest match ever. Nothing will surpass it unless Edge and AJ Styles manage to do it.
And that might sound. And I love like the story, like there, like years ago there was Undertaker Week, and I think JBL's Legend Show had him, Triple H. Fuck.
I think Shawn Michaels might have been on there too.
Shawn was on there, and Stone Cold.
Yeah.
And like Triple H was telling the story. He's like, him and Randy, I think, were like supposed to main event. And they were like 10 minutes in the match, I guess Randy walked in and Triple H was like, dude, we're fucked.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there was no way they were going to get the crowd invested after that.
No matter what you do, it's going to be a letdown going home. I've always said Undertaker should have been the main event because the streak is bigger than any championship match.
I agree.
You could put on. That should always be the go home match.
Yeah, Orton and Triple H should have went on before that.
Yeah, for 1000%. So to go off of wrestling, you said you're a horror guy.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts and opinions on what they're going to do in the Halloween Ends movie? I got my own. And
all right, I've been saying this ever since they did the other Halloween before this one. This is the ending I want because I don't think horror movies should have happy endings. I think Michael needs to kill Laurie.
What's I think happened because she was done filming before James Dew Courtney was done.
The ending I want is for him to walk off into like the woods or some shit with her head in his hand. That's what I want, but I don't know if it's gonna happen.
So, as cool as that would be, here's the issue with this. He's like 70 years old in this movie.
Yeah, that's true.
If you don't kill him and you do a reboot, he's going to be 90. Okay. So, yeah, Jamie Lee or Lori, whatever, needs to die. So you end that story for any fucking reboot whatsoever.
Yeah.
And even like Jamie Lee Curtis said, like, I'm done. Like, these movies have been so great and I'm getting old. I'm not coming back ever. So she's going to die.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Allison's going to be the one to kill Michael.
Oh.
He needs to die. And if you do any reboots for any reason, rather it's a Netflix special, have her be a cameo or be the main. I don't know. Like but he needs to die, and he's going to die. If he doesn't die, I'm going to tear all this down.
Yeah, I mean the ending of the last movie, I knew it in my gut. I remember turning it over to my friend in the. I love that scene, by the way, when he's getting the shit kicked out of him and then he comes back to. But before he came back to, all my friends were like, "Oh my god, like they're doing it." And I looked at my friend Anthony.
One more movie. Like, well, you knew this was a trilogy. So
yeah, like
when that happened, I knew, like, as cool as this was, I'm like, he ain't dead.
Yeah, I don't think my boys knew because like they're not super into the world as I am. So I looked over at my friends and I went, it's not over. I'm like, give it a minute. I promise you he's gonna get up.
I didn't know what they were gonna do. I didn't know because they're doing callbacks to all the movies before.
Yeah.
Certain things, right? Like they even did Halloween 3 in the last one with the kids in the costumes, and they did a Halloween 5 with the pitchfork.
They took it back. They made sure that they covered up like every.
I didn't know if they were gonna do like a Halloween Resurrection vibe and have him go to the hospital and then do the zoom in on his face and then have his eyes open.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what I thought was going to happen. I didn't expect him to like but then when Lori started talking about like he's not human, the more he kills, the more he becomes, something. And it's true. He's not supernatural, but there's something about Halloween night. And one night he got ran over by a fucking SUV doing 60 miles an hour. He should have shattered ribs. He's been shot like 10 times. Had his fucking fingers blown off. Bats and crowbars to the face. Probably got dislocated jaws and shattered cheekbones. And he's still fucking like killing people.
He got out of a burning house somehow.
Yeah.
Burning basement.
Well, that was smart. Him going into the thing and closing.
Yeah. I'm excited about this next movie. I'm just really like intrigued, like how they're going to end it all.
Because also the mask. Okay. So they can't reuse this mask.
Yeah.
From a merchandise standpoint, for the diehard, who's going to buy this mask again?
Yeah. That's true.
And I've heard he gets a new mask somehow.
Oh, shit. That's very interesting too.
So I just do I don't read dirt. So the issue I have with Kills is there was too much information leaked before the movie was released.
Yeah.
And they're doing a great job this time. They're not letting us know too much. They just said, hey, filming's done. It's coming out this year. And this is all speculation. Like, there's been rumors of like Lori like buys the Myers house and tears it down. So he doesn't have a place to go. And I guess that cell phone tower that was in the flashback of the Hawkins scene is where he like camps out for 4 years.
Oh shit. I did not think of that at all. I was thinking too, like you made a good point, like Halloween night, obviously, like what if they drag that movie and the time within the movie past midnight within the movie and they try to kill him? Like, I don't know if that makes any
So,
sense.
I mean, I've seen concept trailers, and there was this Lego concept trailer that was pretty dope on how they're trying to tie in Halloween 6 to this last movie heavy. And this concept of the cult of Thorn, and Michael so many years ago was in the woods and he came across this ritual of the cult of Thorn doing their thing, and they gave him the curse. And that's the night he went home and killed his sister when he was a kid.
Oh shit. Okay.
So because I like the concept of the cult of Thorn, I just thought it was cheesy how he did it in Halloween 6.
I haven't watched that movie in so long.
I talked to Daniel Ferrens, who wrote Halloween 6 on my podcast.
That's fucking cool.
Nice guy. Super fucking nice guy. Super nice. And he didn't, he's like, it wasn't my idea for a lot of this shit. It's like, I came to him with a great idea, but the producers and, you know, the head executives wanted something catchy and cool. Like, I thought that movie was too bloody for a Halloween movie, for one. With the, like, Halloween doesn't need to be bloody. And Kills, if you like Halloween 2 of Rob Zombie's, like, franchise, you obviously loved Halloween Kills because there was a lot of over the top shit.
Yeah.
But I hated both of the Rob Zombie movies.
Oh, dude, I could. My first date here. You want a nice embarrassing story for your podcast?
Yes.
So my first date when I was younger, my ex-girlfriend now, like, broke up years ago. But I took her. She was really excited to see Halloween 2. She loved horror just as much as me. And I was like, cool, let's go on our first date. Let's go to the movies and go to dinner. Well, I took her to see Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Not only are we 20 minutes into this thing and we look at each other and we're like, this fucking sucks. The movie doesn't get any better. And behind me, I hear my name called, and it's my older sister and her drunk ass boyfriend. And they're like loud as fuck, dropping popcorn, spilling soda. And the whole time, because I love horror movies, me and my girlfriend at the time are watching this thing. I'm like, it has to get better, right? Like there's no way this movie's gonna suck for the first 20 minutes and still be shit. Absolutely wrong. I hate Halloween 2. It was the worst first date of all time.
Halloween 2, if I want to watch a fun movie that I don't put in the Halloween franchise, it's not a bad movie. It's fun.
I haven't rewatched it since. I've never went back.
Like, it's the worst Halloween movie of all time.
Yeah. 1,000%.
But it's fun if you look at it from a different perspective. It's different. So it kind of makes it fun. But I felt like it was a Friday 13th dick ride too much of, he's listening to his dead mom?
Yeah, I didn't like that. Yeah. That's what I said.
And then he spoke. That. He fucking spoke. It was one word, but still, that is killing the mistake. And I swear to God, if they fucking make him talk in this last movie.
Oh God, no, yeah, he can't fucking talk. Yeah, that's like if Jason were to talk. Yeah, I don't want that.
Rather he like says, "I love you, Lori," or whatever the fuck. But here's the thing I love about Green, Green and Blumhouse. These have been the best reboots and sequels the franchise has ever done.
I agree.
So these guys are super fans like us. They're not going to fuck this up.
Yeah. I think it's just in the age of reboots with movies, this is probably the only reboots I've enjoyed. Like I'm very big into my comic book stuff.
2009 2009 Friday 13th does not get enough credit.
Oh, dude, that's another great movie. I love the story for that, like how he drags the girl into the cave because she looks like his mom. That was such a cool take.
I just didn't like how quickly they went from the bag to the hockey mask.
Yeah, they could have dragged it a bit.
There wasn't no like cool build up to it. He was just killed this pothead farmer and just don't put this on now.
Yeah, right. Did you see the killer cut of that movie? The killer cut is great if you haven't seen it. Highly recommend.
No, I need to do that. So, what to you is Jason X the worst horror movie of all time?
That movie is shit. I mean, if you're having a few beers with your buddies and you want to put something on as
that's
background
awful, like
noise,
something that's awfully good, like
yeah,
it's like this is so bad we gotta watch it.
Yeah, it's one of those. But yeah, it's Jason Goes to Hell is just as bad. Like, that movie is pretty fucking bad too.
You're gonna hate me, but I love that movie.
You do? No, yo, dude, I like some bad shit. I like Daredevil, so
like I loved the idea of it. Like it was kind of at first. I had to watch it twice, but like this ain't bad. Of Jason's heart, you just fucking eat it, then he fucking passes from body to body, and then it set up obviously the biggest bust of all time. Too much backstory of Freddy versus Jason. There were too much You didn't need to do that. Like, you could have just set him up.
I love that movie actually, Freddy vs. Jason. I don't know what it is. I really like. I have a soft spot for it.
You had an hour of bullshit I didn't care about, and 20 minutes of them actually fucking getting down.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of backstory now that I think about it. But I thought the action was dope. I really loved the ending fight scene on the dock. I had a soft spot for that one.
It was. Here's one thing I don't understand, and as a producer and a writer, you need a fucking. If I'm a fucking fucking someone that just watches this and I can figure it out in 2 seconds. How can you professionals not fucking fix this? Freddy fucking pokes his eyes out.
Yeah.
And then Jason floats up to the water and he's got 2 eyes.
Yeah, that's true. I never dug that deep into my mind about it. Yeah, that's a good point.
It doesn't make any fucking sense. He doesn't rejuvenate. If he did, his fucking fingers would have came back.
Yo, that is true. That's a good fucking point.
It's a fucking writer and director. How fucking mediocre can you be? I
never thought about it.
I bet there was one person like in the back, like, I'm not saying shit, but yo, this dude's eyes are showing.
Yeah, right. I always wish we would have got a Jason versus Michael at some point, but I don't know if we'll ever see Jason again.
Oh no! So the lawsuit's done.
Oh, thank God.
So at some point it is going to come back, but now the original people are going to want a big paycheck for people to do these movies.
For sure.
But a Jason and Michael would be okay. But listen, this to me is more intriguing. Okay? Because they're both real life characters. There's nothing more to them than just evil. Leatherface and Michael.
Oh, dude, that'd be awesome. I still haven't seen, because I was listening to that little clip of your podcast. I still haven't seen the new Texas Chainsaw. I gotta watch it. Is it like, if you were to give me like on a scale from 1 to 10?
So I said it, I don't know, 5-star rating. I think I gave it 2.5.
It's bad.
It's not as bad as the one with Trey Songz, the 3D.
Oh God! Oh yeah.
This one had a lot of potential, but it felt rushed. The build up to the characters and character development wasn't there for me. There wasn't any suspense. And then he just started killing people left and right. There wasn't no fucking build up to anything.
My friend told me it's very like Gen Z-esque. Like there's like a TikTok reference or cancel culture reference or something.
It's funny.
Like that.
Yeah, but it's like the past meets the present.
Oh, okay.
Because this town has no fucking ATM or anything. It's one of the last hole in the ground towns on earth.
Where does it does it say where it's supposed to take place in?
I can't remember, but there's so many how I'm not going to ruin it, but when you watch it, hit me up and then
for sure.
Or go back and re-listen to the whole podcast.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because I was listening and I was like, oh, I don't want to spoil it for myself.
Yeah, but it's like, man, it had a lot of potential. It really did. And I'm intrigued to see what they do with the next movie. There is going to be a next movie. I'll spoil that for you.
Okay. That excites me though, because more material.
You'll just have to watch past the credits too.
Oh, okay. Nice. So I might watch it tonight.
Yeah, I totally would. For a Netflix film, like it wasn't as bad as I think Netflix thought it was going to be. I just have a high standard of horror movies and slashers and all this.
Did you watch The Last Scream?
Not impressed.
Yeah, so I thought the acting
was terrible.
Yeah.
The story was terrible. And you killed Dewey.
Yeah, oh dude, yeah, that broke my heart. They got me.
Fucking Gil. Fuck Gil. Keep Dewey. He's been through too much.
Yeah, they got me on that one. And I felt like they didn't give enough backstory on him and Gail. They like skimmed over.
It was like a 5-minute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they were like, they have problems.
they had their weird moment when they meet again. Like, oh, well, you left New York. Da, 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 you don't fucking come back. Blah, 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 blah. I love you, Dewey. Yeah, I've heard that before. Da, 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 da. It's just typical Scream. But the new Scream movie was okay. I mean, like, it wasn't like the worst thing I've ever seen, but in that franchise, it's the worst movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That and 4 are very but I enjoyed it. But like I said, I felt like it was kind of rushed, and the acting was the acting felt like very cheesy.
So obviously, the first Scream is God tier.
Yeah,
it's like in the 1978 Halloween. There's certain movies that are gonna be around forever, and those two are it. But Scream 3 to me is my second favorite.
Oh, Scream 3 is great. I love the first 3. The first 3 I think are great. I think 4 is where it starts falling apart.
I just feel like it was a cash grab at that point.
Yeah, for like merch and marketing and stuff like that, of course.
And did Wes Craven not do the 4th one?
I don't think so.
Ta-da! There's your answer.
Yeah. I was also with this new one, right? I was like, big miss not getting Matthew Lillard in this. Huge miss. Because technically speaking, if we go back to the first one, I don't think he's dead.
No. I mean, but everyone thought he was going to make his appearance as Ghostface in the last movie.
Yeah.
But he'll come back at some... It's almost guaranteed there's a next one.
Yeah. I hope so.
But Sydney, the person that plays Sydney, forgive me, I can't remember her real name, but she's like, I'm not coming back if you're going to kill my character.
Oh, wow.
I agree with that.
Yeah, no, she has to live.
She's been through way too much.
Yeah, no, she has to live. I'm forgetting her name also, damn it.
But man, she's still hot.
Man, no, she still looks good. Even Courtney Cox still looks good too. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's pretty like for that, man. Like That's probably my second franchise besides Halloween. Like, and then
I love those.
Yeah, I don't really care for I'll watch them, but I have no emotional investment in like Friday 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street or Texas Chainsaw. What's one thing I will say, like the first Nightmare on Elm Street was terrifying.
Yeah, that movie's still scary.
Then I think it's the New Nightmare, whatever, where they brought reality. Like it wasn't like them as real people, not actors. Like 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 it wasn't a movie. It was shot like it was real life, and they brought in Freddy to the real world.
Yeah, New Nightmare is probably my favorite, other than the first one.
Yeah, it was just so different and unique, and it was well fucking executed.
Yeah, and as a horror fan, I know a lot of people want that series to come back, and I know they want a reboot. I don't want one because
the last movie was terrible. I didn't think it was terrible.
I didn't think it was the worst thing, but I just think it's going to be hard to top Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. Like, I think it's like Heath Ledger being the Joker, right? Like, I don't know if anybody's going to go over that. So I think they need to leave Freddy Krueger alone until they're completely sure that they have somebody to fill those shoes or fill the glove, if you want to get
or wait until we get older and like you get a newer audience that's never seen any of the Nightmare on Elm Streets.
Yeah, because even people younger than us, like it's such a pop culture thing that they've seen it.
Yeah, so just wait 10 more years or so when you have a new audience.
Yeah.
But yet, I don't think they're going to do these movies because I'm not trying to get too political, but people are too sensitive.
Dude, yeah. Oh, man. No, see, I'll talk about stuff like that. Like I know I said I wouldn't talk about like politics, but like I'll talk about people's sensitivity. Like, obviously,
gets offended about everything now. And Freddy, as you know, is a rapist, and he's this guy with a lot of perverted one-liners. And there's going to be a group of people watching these movies. Like people try to make Michael Myers in the last movie to be someone who hates homosexuals because he killed 2 gay guys.
Dude, people like need to unclench their buttholes. Like it's a movie. Like
it's like obviously you don't know what my man Mike is about.
Yeah.
If anything, he showed passion for those. He put them together like how the picture. He had empathy.
Yeah.
No, I'm not trying to be like. He actually had a soft spot for those guys.
Yo, like, but like the thing with people, like that's crazy, right? Like people went to go watch that movie, and somebody really got offended and bitched on the internet after watching a horror movie. Like,
but yeah, you're not gonna complain about the 2 black people he killed, or the white people he killed, or the police, or the firefighters. But he kills 2 gay people, and oh my god, Michael Myers is homophobic.
People they will always find something in this day and age to bitch about. I gotta ask, I'm sure you probably already talked about it, but it's so damn funny still. You probably already know where I'm going. This whole Will Smith smack thing.
Here's the thing that's funny about this. Will Smith was laughing his ass off.
Yeah.
And he looks at his wife, and his wife's not having a good time.
No.
And fucking, man, Chris Rock has a chin.
Dude, if I was Chris Rock and he smacked me and walked off, my immediate response with my comedy brain, I would have been like, damn, Will and Jada, I'll see you in August. And then Will Smith probably would have got up and knocked him out with a right hand. But dude,
but the memes that came up after that was like Will laughs and looks like, dude, you want me to cheat on you again?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Did I do it right? Or like, oh, I'm not impressed. Tupac would have shot him. It's like, It's like, man, the internet is undefeated with this. And then Jake Paul says he will offer him $15 million each to box.
Oh my God. I didn't see that one. That's fucking hilarious.
So are you into combat sports or no?
Yeah. So my good buddy Joel got me into UFC a lot. So I watch the pay-per-views whenever I can.
Here's the thing with Jake. He's a great amateur boxer with power.
Yeah.
He's not a boxer. He's a great amateur boxer. Now, he earned my respect in the first fight against Woodley because he got cracked with a couple shots.
Yeah.
And he didn't fall. And he went the distance. But to watch him knock Woodley out like that, like he's got... So Nate Diaz wants out of his UFC contract, and I think he wants to box Jake Paul. Now, here's the thing. Diaz has great technique when it comes to his boxing. Like his punches land.
Yeah.
Right? But his style, he's too hittable.
Yeah. So here's the thing, though. Like Diaz, as far as I remember, he's never gotten knocked out, right?
I don't think so. But here's the thing. Jake Paul is going to knock him out.
Jake Paul has punching power. I mean, Conor could knock him out with box. It's weird. It's how different the gloves are make a huge difference. Yeah, for sure. Because you have all that extra layer on top that makes it hurt more. Yeah, I think I would love for Nate Diaz to knock him the fuck out as a fan.
It's not going to happen. Diaz doesn't have that power.
Yeah, it won't.
The most we'll get is like a referee stoppage of like Diaz is landing punch after punch, and Jake kind of like he's hurt, like his hands drop or something, and Diaz keeps landing, and the ref gets, but he's not gonna do a highlight knockout.
Yeah, I think so. When I first discovered Jake Paul, I was kind of like, "Fuck this guy," and then
I kind of like what he's doing with the sport and what he's trying to accomplish with fighter pay and healthcare and.
Yeah, like the more I was following him, the more he grew on me because of what you just mentioned, and also,
I think it's a gimmick. I think it's a gimmick.
It's a gimmick, and two, it's smart. He's making money. Like, of course, he's not going to go into an octagon with Conor McGregor. Why? Because Conor will kill him. Of course, he's going to box people instead.
Well, like, hold on, Jake. And I quote, after Dana got on the Impulsive podcast last week, says, I'll fight McGregor at 175 in the UFC.
I think Conor will kill him in the octagon, though.
Here's the thing. Jake has that power if Conor just tries to go in guns blazing. Jake has boxing technique and power.
He's going to have to watch for like kicks and stuff. Like people slept on Conor's kicks, like with Cowboy. And I think people like kind of forgot and Conor reminded them like,
here's an unpopular opinion. The third fight with Poirier so Conor came out, most Conor we've seen since the Alvarez fight. Yeah. He fought more conventional and he was doing that front stabbing leg kick we haven't seen him do in a while. Like he went back to what got him to the dance, because the second fight with Poirier, he fought like a boxer and the legs were just too exposed, and that's why those calf kicks were killing him.
Yeah.
But Conor, before the leg broke, because it broke before it broke, he knew that. That's why he went for the guillotine. He knew that leg was done. He was winning that fight before he went for that guillotine.
Oh, yeah, he had Dustin in trouble a few times in that last fight.
Yeah, and he's not done. If there's anybody who can come back and be champion, it's him. He's got this belief in himself that's unbreakable. And that is enough to like, but him at 170 against Usman, I don't know.
Nah, I think Usman kills him.
Yeah. Sorry. Like, I'm always going to give Conor a striking chance.
Yeah. No, Conor has a very...
And if Usman wants to go in and try to strike with Conor, That's his fault. Because Connor knocks people out at 145, 155, and he fucking days Cowboy at 170. Has Usman been hit as hard by the likes of someone like Connor? I know people, but or if you want to do a big money fight, Masvidal and McGregor.
Yeah, dude,
at 170.
I want that as a UFC fan, like inject it in my veins. Like fucking, I want the press conferences. I want it all. And that's an interesting striking matchup too. Like that's going to be a fun fight to watch. We don't have to worry
Connor
about
knocks him
grappling.
out though. I think Connor will knock him out.
I think so too.
Masvidal's washed up. He's washed up. It's that simple.
I was disappointed by that Masvidal Covington fight.
I'm not. I am a huge Covington fan.
I love him too, but I wanted to finish like a decisive
You weren't gonna get that. I knew that. It was either gonna be a tap out or a 5-round decision. Even though Kobe has volume, his punches. The only thing I'm it could be a TKO of him wearing Masvidal out and him just coming with the volume of punches and him not being able to defend himself, but he's never going to knock anybody out.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he wobbled Usman, and that's the thing that's interesting. He was 10 seconds away from knocking Usman out in that last fight. And I don't think Usman has a chin. If Kobe is wobbling you, what are you going to do when someone like Connor connects?
That's true, because Connor's going to capitalize off of a wobble real fast.
No, there ain't going to be no wobble. It's going to be a fucking KO.
Yeah. There's no wasted movement when Connor knows he hurts you. So,
yeah. And it's just an interesting thing to look at. It's gonna be a fun summer because he wants to come back in the summer. So
I hope so, man. I would love to see Conor McGregor come back strong. I don't want to see him lose again.
I mean, if he does, he does. But I want it to be good.
Yeah.
I can't watch him get knocked out
or break a bone.
If he loses, I want it to be a war.
Yeah, dude, that summer's going to be fun for a lot of reasons, but I'm very excited for a Conor McGregor return for sure.
1000%. Well, I hate to cut this a little short. It seems like we've been having a great time. But it's I always try to keep my podcast within a certain amount of time.
No, me too, man.
But dude, I would love to come on your show at any time. So, if you want me,
dude,
1000%, I'm open to being a guest because you're one of the coolest guests in terms of conversation. This has been one of the best conversations I've had for a while.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. If anybody wants to shoot me a follow,
yeah, I was about to say, man, this is your time, guys, for you to shout that out. And also, I'll put it in the podcast when I post it. I'll tag all your shit. So,
thank you, man, and thank you for having me on. If you guys want to shoot me a follow, I have a podcast called Audio Asylum. It's wherever you can find your podcast, and I recently just started uploading specific ones to Zoom. I don't know if you've ever seen the horror movie Terrifier. But I had Samantha Scafidi on that show. She's in that movie. I just had Vine star and podcast host Danny Lopriori. He was on the show. And we have a YouTube channel called Asylum TV. We play this game called Dare Pong. It is ridiculous. It is beer pong with stupid dares. And if you want to follow my personal account, I'm underclass_hero 999 on Instagram. And I'm just a good dude trying to make content to make people happy. I'm average Joe.
I think you're great at it, man. There's certain people that just have that energy for it, and everyone wants to do a podcast, but not everyone can be good at it.
Thank you, bro. Yeah.
There's certain people that are good co-hosts, but you're just good. You know how to read the conversation. We've never spoke before this. We haven't 2 or 3 messages. And this was as smooth as things could go. So like, they're just stick to what you're doing, man, and
Thank you,
the
bro. That
work
means
ethic is gonna like show itself. You know.
thank you, bro. That means a lot to me because I went through, like without taking up too much time because I know we were ending. I went
It's all good.
on. I've been doing this 5 years and I was going through a lot of personal shit and I took a hiatus for a few months and I just came back recently. So, for anybody going through anything and they're trying to go through creative endeavors, I just want to say don't give up on it. If you need to take some time to refuel the tank, do it. And what you did, dude, thank you, Justin. Justin reached out to me and was like, hey, I think your content looks cool. You want to be on the show? And if you're doing creative content, it's always cool to be cool like Justin and reach out to people and just be a good dude, lift people up and show them mutual support.
I mean, for me, it's not about the followers, man. I have to have someone that's going to mesh.
Yeah, like have fun.
That's what's important. And if people can tell you love what you do, and if you can have people have the same enthusiasm and excitement that we got talking, listening, everything will come in time. I am in this for the long haul.
Hell yeah, dude.
I know it's going to be a minute before I see any of the results I want, but I'm going to manifest it. We're going to be successful in this.
Hell yeah, dude. Dude, I support you, bro. And like, keep doing what you're doing, Justin. Like I said, I've been doing this 5-6 years, and just recently I finally started kind of getting a little bit of traction, and just
I've
keep
only
busting
been
your
doing
ass.
this less than a year, but it's still something like it's
fun.
It's caught fire. Like every week I get like 50 new Instagram followers, and I know everyone's laughing like 50, but still.
No, dude, it means something.
When you add the math up in a year, that's a decent chunk of people.
Yeah, dude. And what you're doing is smart. You're reaching out to people like, bro, like stay after it. Like I said, coming from somebody who's been doing this a while, don't get discouraged by any of the bullshit.
This is therapeutic for me because there's a lot of bullshit that we deal with in our day. And it's just cool to sit down and talk to normal fucking people. Well, we're not normal. We're probably fucked up.
Yeah, I'm fucked up.
Yeah, but just like people we can just talk to, man, and just fucking leave all the bullshit behind this door behind me,
Exactly. That's why I do what I do, man.
This is my, not to go in South Park, but my safe space.
Yeah, bro. No, dude, I love it. Like, that's what it's about. And I would love to have you on the Asylum.
Yeah, man, just let me know. And we can probably get something next week or the week after, man. Just let me know. And I'll look at my schedule and I'll be more than happy. And you can have me for 3 or 4 hours. I don't care.
Yeah, we'll plan it out. You'll come on the show for sure. But I loved being on here, man. I had a great time talking about shit we love. Thank you, dude.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for just being here.
Anytime.
Guys, once again, this was the SunKissed Podcast, and you can find the podcast on Instagram at the SunPod, all one word. And I just recently launched a YouTube, and that is also the SunPod, and that is not one word. That's going to be spaced out. So yeah, just make sure you give the SunPod a follow, and I will be sure to tag all his information in. And yeah, I will see you guys next week, man. And once again, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, bro. Thank you.
All right, man. Cheers.
Cheers.